reasoning power that Mary Roy did. Incidentally, the highest court in Ontario agrees with what she came in at the beginning. It was always a decision of council. They tried to argue saying I was a candidate, and so because I was a candidate, this arose as things I did prior to the election when I wasn't an elected official. Okay? The thing is, you can't ask to remove a candidate from office. If he's a candidate, he's not elected. You can't remove him from office. You can only remove a councillor from office. Right? So therefore, just by that application, you're covered.
In regards to, we lost $201,000.
Yeah.
What about the expense as far as the interest in the city lawyers? Would that be covered by the insurance policy if they decide to cover it?
The insurance company wants you to do two things. We want you to notify us, and we want you to allow us to take charge of the case. When you want to get your car fixed, we'll tell you, you go and get 3 quotes, we'll tell you where you're going to go. You don't just go and get your car fixed. It's the same principle. Notify the insurer, they appoint the lawyer, they decide how they're going to handle it, how they want the settlement to proceed. When you don't do that, you go and get your car fixed, you don't notify them, they may not pay. In this instance, I feel they're going to pay, and I'll tell you why. Because AON Reed Stenhouse was the insurance broker. It was her job. They have a $10 million deductible errors and omissions. If it was me, I'd sue their pants off. Okay? I'd sue their pants off. And I mean, but as a corporation, they should. They dropped the ball. You can't go after, you can't, if it's my employee being Gary Henry or Carol Bush or Brian McRae, I can't go and, you know how I discipline them? You fire them, you can't sue them. I think you got a real fundamental problem there. I don't think the courts will look upon that to say, what is council doing to deal with this? Yeah. Okay.
Now this next one, I guess it's hindsight, but looking back on this whole situation, we only have one other councillor here. I guess the question I would ask, you can agree or disagree, would we not have been better off originally when the whole question of audit came up, we audited the mayor, if the council had to agree to allow that audit, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. Yeah?
I'm going to let Councillor Roy talk and then I'll say something later. Go ahead.
If I can just tell you, the way the legislation is written, you can't send, I'm sorry, I don't remember who asked the question. Okay. The way the legislation is written, you can only send somebody to audit if you find wrongdoing. So the onus is on council to look over the application, and the onus is on the applicants to prove there's something wrong. Okay, that's the way, you can't just default to it and say, oh, and some of the councillors said it's easier, but send it to audit and let a professional do it and get rid of it. But you can't do that. That's not the way the legislation allows. Years ago, you used to have a commissioner you could go to. Now you don't. We, as councillors, had to find an error. And I personally phoned or visited every single person that Ken just put on his list of businesses that Councillor Santa dealt with on his election. I phoned everyone and said, did you do this work for Councillor Santa? What did you charge? Do you have an invoice to prove it? I went through every single thing